And I said, that's not how you drink coffee.
It's not. I nearly died.
You did. Don't die, though, because if you die, who am I going to talk to on this episode of Big Damn Cast? Hello. Nerdy news, geeky gossip, load of bollocks to fill your time before you inevitably die or decide to play with yourself to pass the time. My name is Christopher, probably shouldn't have said that on microphone, Johnson.
My name is Matthew. I've lost count of the things he shouldn't have said on microphone, Watson.
Today, on the show,
Yes.
we're going to be talking about whiffles, waffles, and a lot of old shite.
So
namely-
Zombieland Double Tap.
Yeah, pretty much. Our spoiler-filled Zombieland Double Tap review is coming up. Normally, I would advise you to watch the spoiler-free review we post on the YouTube channel if you don't want to have anything spoiled. It's a separate video. This week, do what you want. I don't think we're really spoiling much, to be honest. It's a comedy horror movie about zombies, and we've got thoughts about it. The more who don't go to watch the movie, I guess, the merrier. Unless you really want to see it. But also, yeah, do watch the video.
Do watch the video, because it's got me shouting at bad drivers on it.
That's true. So many people taking U-turns. It's ridiculous.
Not like, U-turns is not, you know, at least one of the U-turns we saw last night was a legal U-turn. It was just in a really bad place.
It was late night.
Even when U-turns are legal.
People were just like, I'm going to do this because no one else is here. Even when old Dr. Whatyales.
Even when U-turns
driving down the road.
Even when U-turns are legal, like, I've never seen someone take them in a good place. There's never a good place to do a U-turn.
Aside from roadside banter, we're also going to be talking about the trailers for Bloodshot, some small independent movie called The Rise of Skywalker, and also, kicking things off, before we get to your emails at the end of the episode, of course, leaked images! Came out today, the year of our Lord, pornographic material.
Gotta keep those camera sanitary towels on tighter.
You gotta seep at the edges.
Didn't have my pressed tampons in.
Pressed tampons?
I don't know.
Prampons?
I don't know. Something.
I use a cup.
A moon cup.
A moon cup.
How do you find the suction? So we say this as two penis-having people.
Yes.
So
speak for yourself.
It's joking. It's like, let's make jokes about moon cups when neither of us can possibly imagine the sensation of wearing one.
Speak for yourself. I'm married. I don't have a penis anymore.
Hey! It's 1970s marriage banter.
No, I just meant that it legally belongs to some. Half of it legally belongs to someone else.
And seeing the size of it, half of it is not much.
Oh!
That's a joke. I've never seen Chris's penis.
There's a first time for everything. And considering how light today's contents are, Matt, I'll do anything to fill.
Oh, please, God.
Time. So, leaked images came out yesterday, as of the recording of this podcast on the 23rd, of Daleks, who are Masters of Earth, apparently. Doctor Who filming is rife once again. It's a shame that it all got cancelled. It isn't happening anymore.
Yeah, it's a real shame that the Series 12 got cancelled.
But, they were filming on a bloody big bridge. And
the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol.
That is indeed the Juan. Yeah. And on said bridge, as spotted by somebody with a long lens...
Oh, fucking long lens, motherfuckers.
Were Daleks.
Keep your long lenses out of my Dalek invasions, thank you very much.
What makes this interesting, and in college terms experimental, is the fact that there are, I think there's 4 in the wide shot of the pic that's out and about. 4 of them, 3 of which are your classic 2005 bronze design. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But similarly, we have said on this programme before, it'd be nice to see them show a confidence and ditch that one now.
Bring back the new paradigm.
That'll never happen.
Cowards.
That will never happen. But it would be cool to at least see them do something new completely. Well,
a big chunky Dalek.
We're getting a touch of something new.
Ooh.
And I think, I'm just going to say it, this is why no one will ever fully accept a replacement of the 2005 bronze tanks.
Yeah.
Because they never just outright replaced them. Like, Victory of the Daleks was about that, but they were still in it, and undoubtedly the coolest designed Daleks in that episode. with the Ironsides disguised as World War II weapons.
You are
Correct.
sadly right.
Yes,
yeah.
they've got little Union Jacks and one
I
of them has
wanna
a tea
say-
tray.
I want to say it was the New Paradigm Daleks, but there's something about a Dalek wearing like fucking pouches
Yeah.
that just made me smile.
Yeah, and saying, would you care for some tea? But also, think about that. After that, every episode the New Paradigm Daleks appeared in, they appeared alongside other Daleks. Asylum, Magician's Apprentice, the bloody council of them at the start of Asylum are all bronze ones with just like a drone and a Supreme. Like the only time they ever appeared on their Bob Tob was when the Doctor taunts that Supreme in the Wedding of River Song. That's in the rubble. That's it.
And the Stone Dalek in the Big Bang Pandorica opens as well.
True, but there was also shiny key distractions in those episodes of, oh, look at all of these monsters that are here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of they never had the spotlight as these are the Daleks, unquestionably. So I think any new version will always, unfortunately, suffer a bit behind the very sturdy design of those ones.
Yes.
Which is why I was surprised to see that they're introducing a new type based on this leaked image. The Reconnaissance Dalek is back. Wouldn't be the same one, but it's the same type of Dalek.
It's got some similar design cues to the Scrap Dalek we saw in
from Resolution, yeah. Which we learned in that as a reconnaissance one. It was sent to Earth centuries ago, so it's probably one of the earlier Daleks, like from the start of them spreading from Skaro. And when it rebuilt itself in that episode, we all looked at it as, wow, that's really cool. That's a Dalek using scrap and crap to rebuild a casing for itself. And it's got elements of the 2005 look in there, and that's cool, but obviously different. It's a thick boy, and we stand a thick boy on this podcast.
Yeah, we do stand a thick boy.
With a really scrawny neck. But it's like, that's, cool, that's great. Turns out that is just the look of the Reconnaissance Dalek, albeit with bigger bumpers, central nerds, a skinny neck, and thick thigh. Just the one. It's a Dalek. It's got one big thigh. There is a black and silver Dalek of the exact same shape, but with extra bits attached to it, and obviously not made of scrap metal in the photo. Rumours are that this is for the upcoming festive / New Year special.
Rumours are that season 12's been cancelled.
Yeah, it's not
just a smokescreen.
But rumours suggest that they'll be in a Christmas / New Year special, and that has fueled further the gathering proof that the Terry Nation estate demands one use of them per year in a major product or appearance in the show, which would make sense because Resolution, though debuting on the 1st of January 2019, Resolution was part of the 2018 production cycle, so there's a little bit of overlap. Plus, if this is going out on New Year 2020, that would mean a Dalek has appeared prominently at least once per year, every year since the
Right, so they're
reboot of
filming
the show.
something that will get before the next series.
Yes, the rumour's been going on for months that the Christmas special / festive special would be filmed last, and it was likely due to time of year or location availability or whatnot for the other episodes.
It's a tight production window.
It is a tight production window, but it also depends on how much post it needs.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And BBC have shown that they really need a lot of posts on their genre TV shows now.
War of the Worlds, anybody?
It's shown in New Zealand. It's been on in New Zealand.
It has been out, and apparently pirate copy of it is already on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I've avoided it thus far because I don't want to watch it prematurely, but it says a lot, doesn't it? That got out there.
It
and no
can't
one
be that
stopped
bad. It can't be that bad.
Well, the response from the New Zealand sort of side of things as far as just been it was dull, which is really upsetting because it's War of the freaking Worlds and it should be amazing. Yeah, so Doctor Who, Daleks coming back. Yay!
Yay!
Show me a trailer. Show me a trailer. New York Comic Con has now been and gone, and there wasn't a Doctor Who presence there aside from the Edge of Time VR game.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting fact for you. The Edge of Time VR game is coming out soon. It does look like a ton of fun. I hope that it's more than just like a 45-minute exercise and that people get a few hours worth of entertainment out of it. But the VR studio behind it and the wing of the BBC that was going to fund tie-ins with that have parted ways. So it's likely that...
Things are going really well.
Yeah. So that's great, isn't it? It's ridiculous. It's just Doctor Who Legacy. Remember that game, the mobile game? Was all
Yeah,
that type of
yeah.
stuff. That's been replaced by Doctor Who Infinity. It's the
Yes.
same team that make it.
Yeah.
But they were basically just like told, yeah, stop Legacy, even though people invested in it like crazy. And if you want to play it now, you can't. You have to already have it on your device.
I mean, it's not that great, so.
No, but still, it's just the idea of like, oh, a Doctor Who app, like a Doctor Who mobile game,
that's the
like
thing with apps
keeping
as well.
the presence going.
Like, game preservation for apps has made things very difficult. Because you can't preserve a lot of that stuff. Because once it gets pulled from the servers, you can't retrieve it. Like PT.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a mobile app, it's a PS4 game, but PS4 demo, but that's... Stuff like that has presented a challenge to game preservation efforts.
Yeah. I mean, I got 2 PS4s and it's on both of them. So that's my retirement plan.
Cool.
When the PS5 comes along, I'm just going to put them both on eBay for about £700 starting bid and go, PT's on this!
It's still on mine. And you can be sure if I ever get a PS4 Pro, then it'll be on. It'll be going on that.
And just copy it straight over, man.
Or PS5 if it supports.
Yeah.
Did you see the PS5 dev kit photo?
Yeah, is it official?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So someone a developer posted a photo of the dev kit, which basically confirms all the rumors about it being like weirdly V-shaped with tons of vents and a bunch
I
of
don't
switches
want
on
that.
the front.
I don't want that.
That's just the dev kit.
Well, I know
the unit's not going to look.
No,
like
I know, but like I hate the fact that whenever a new console speculation comes out, people put up photoshopped or like anticipated designs, and they're always unnecessarily weirdly shaped.
They're always weirdly complex. But
And
this
like,
apparently is.
I just want a box. I just want a little box I can put discs in.
But it doesn't surprise me the dev kit being weirdly shaped because it's not consumer level hardware. So, but yeah, they've already, like, Sony have been out there confirming, yeah, it's going to be called the PS5, yeah, it's going to be out holiday 2020. It's going to be great. Buy one, please.
There won't be an Edge of Time sequel on it, but what else? Do you know what?
It might be backwards compatible.
Do you know what? I hope it is, for fuck's sake. Seriously, if it's backwards compatible for all previous 4 generations, I'll be happy.
They will be burning some serious goodwill if it's not backwards compatible with PS4 stuff. But
At
also
least
because,
with PS4, yeah.
Because in terms of innards, both the Xbox One and PS4 are very similar to like off-the-shelf PCs. You use a lot of off-the-shelf PC parts. So, and apparently so is the new boxes going forward, just scaled up. So, but when with like chunkier graphics processors and stuff like that, and the new solid state technology. But they've also used the PS4 Spider-Man game as a tech demo at showings for the new loading technology. So either they've recoded Spider-Man for PS4 for PS5 and they're just going to fucking re-release it, or
Game of the Year edition.
it's backwards compatible.
All I know is if they were like, here's the PS5, it's £300. Here's the PS5 X, and it's exactly the extra processor and whatnot in it, so it can be backwards compatible to all 4 previous generations. If they did that, I'd be like, yeah, I'll pay an extra.
They're not going to do that though. They're going to go, here's the PS5, it's £500.
I just mean like if they were that hung up on it for some cosmetic reason or whatever, the idea of putting all that extra stuff in it so it could do that, I will happily pay for the bigger, chunkier console. I don't care. I don't mind my console being a hefty fucker sat on the shelf. Like, I want it to be a hefty fucker. I want it to be big enough that I'm not tempted to put shit around it so I can leave the vents clear.
I'm down with that. I don't... It's going to be prohibitively expensive, probably. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the news after that console tangent.
Do you know it's consumer-ready software? Trailers! Doesn't work.
Not software.
Doesn't work.
Media.
Alright.
Consumer-ready media.
Alright, if you're such a scientist...
Or Credia.
If you're such a scientist,
Yes,
explain Bloodshot to me.
Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel, is an adaptation of the Valiant comics.
Your Vin Diesel's better.
It's an adaptation of the Valiant comics series of the same name.
Are you Groot?
I am Groot. It's a terrible Vin Diesel, but it's better than yours.
It's better than Vin Diesel. I'd say it's a better Vin Diesel than Vin Diesel.
Well, so's The Rock.
What about family?
No, I'm right.
What about family?
Stop being Vin Diesel and he started being Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, it's a dude, an army dude who loves his family, who loves his wife, is killed and reanimated with technology that lets him heal from any wound and gives him, enhanced strength and weird shit. But then
Makes
in
him
the
faster than a
trailer,
locomotive. Can he leap tall buildings in a single bound?
No, probably not.
Oh.
But you know, he's butch.
Then what good is
Wears
he?
a vest.
Oh, I see.
Got to wear that vest. Got to wear a tight white t-shirt. Got to punch a column.
Punch that column, Vin.
Punch a concrete column.
The room will fall down around you, you blithering idiot.
We're gonna punch it.
You can't.
He's basically just got like a billion nanites in him. Like,
So what you're saying, but what happens after each mission, Matt?
Well, it looks like he's on some sort of weird time loop of getting his memory wiped and then has new memories implanted to allow him to assassinate people under the auspices of them being the person who killed his wife. But they're not really. He's being manipulated.
And is every mission real, or are some of them artificially created, Matt?
Who knows?
And is it basically a lab that's experimenting on him and wiping his memory after enhancing him with metal?
Who could say?
Is it Wolverine?
Who could say?
Is this basically Wolverine?
Who could say?
He's made of nanites. You know, at some point he's gonna go all prototype and grow claws. And
No,
then it will just be Wolverine.
I don't think that's what they do with Bloodshot in the comics.
Yeah.
But this is a Sony Pictures joint, so
it could go either way. Could go either bloody way. Trailer's pretty interesting. I'll give it that.
It looks okay. The use of
some
music
well
nice.
executed shots. Do we know who's directing?
I'll
look it up.
No.
I'll look it up.
No.
I'll look it up. You drop some Bloodshot knowledge on us.
I have no knowledge of Bloodshot. I have next to no knowledge of Valiant Comics and their properties. I know Bloodshot. I know Exo Manowar is one thing, and there was an Iron Man versus Exo Manowar video game for the SNES.
Iron Man versus
Iron
Exo
Man
Manowar?
and Exo Manowar in heavy metal.
A Marvel and Valiant crossover?
Yeah, this was back in like the late 90s, so...
Oh, when people didn't give a shit about that, because the industry was failing like crazy,
Yeah.
had no backup from anyone bigger, and they were like, oh shit, we should probably support each other.
It was on the SNES and Mega Drive, and I think Saturn got a version as well. There was some weird, like... There was some... We'll have to look at some of these older, like, console Marvel and DC games, because we've got stuff like the
The old X-Men arcade stuff would be amazing. It's Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man Kingpin one on Sega CD is apparently really fucking good.
Oh god, one of them's good, one of them's really bad.
Yeah.
It's the one that ends with, if you make the wrong decision, Mary Jane being melted in a vat of acid.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because reasons. It is the directorial debut of David S.F. Wilson.
What should I know David S.F. Wilson from?
It's his directorial debut.
No, I know that, but like, is he a writer or
he has no Wikipedia article, so I'm going to look forward to see if he has an IMDb.
Fuck?
I'm going to see if he's got an IMDb. Delve even further into the hole of Bloodshot.
No,
the Bloodshot hole.
But yeah, it looks like they're doing we're gonna do the comics look, but not, because in the comics Bloodshot is like stark white or silver skin, depending on how it's coloured, with a big red spot in the centre of his chest. He's like a walking Japanese flag.
Yeah.
With a black crew cut. And but in this, of course, he's bald and Diesel. And he has flashes of the red eyes that the comic version has now and again. And in one of the fight sequences, he's got this glowing red chest. But it's going to be interesting to see how... Because there's that shot in the trailer where he gets half his face blown off and it grows back. So it's going to be interesting to see how far they push the violence of it. What sort of rating they're going for.
Dave Wilson has only directed one thing before. It was an episode of Love, Death and Robots.
Oh, that had mixed receptions because it was
the Netflix
series,
wasn't it? He ran the camera department for Bowie's Glass Spider back in '88.
Okay.
And he has done visual effects work on, here we go, boys and girls, Rockfish in 2003.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's when his professional career began, and the Bowie thing was probably helping out when he was like a teen or something.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. So
all the cinematics for that, yeah.
Yeah. Go for Broke. The short, 2004 animated short.
Okay.
Company of Heroes, 2006 video game.
Another relic.
Halo Wars. Mass Effect 2.
So lots of cinematics.
Mostly cinematic and the trailers, yeah. Force Unleashed 2.
Yeah.
The 2011 Old Republic Star Wars game.
Yep.
PlanetSide 2. Guardians of Middle-earth. Cinematic and trailer director for Bioshock Infinite.
That has some decent trailers.
Elder Scrolls Online. He was a creative supervisor for Age of Ultron.
Okay.
He was the trailer director for the Old Republic Knights of the Fallen Empire. Trailer director for The Division. And trailer director for the Old Republic Knights of the Eternal Throne. So...
Of course, he's got some pedigree in
He's a video game guy.
Yeah.
He's a video game guy.
He knows CG animation, so at least he'll be able to bring those chops to... I mean, that's what Tim Miller was doing.
I was going to say, this is very Tim Miller doing Deadpool, yeah. Tim Miller, of course, has directed 2 films now? Terminator's his second, isn't it? He hasn't done another one in between.
Terminator Dark Fate.
He was going to do something else, wasn't he? There was another
film. He was
film...
going to do Deadpool too.
No, even after that, there was another film
probably.
Didn't happen.
I can't remember what, though.
But yeah, and Dark Fate, which again from the trailers looks really good. We'll talk more about that next week.
The Guardian review came out today for Terminator Dark Fate.
Go on, tease me.
2 stars.
Hey!
Terminator. Arnold's back, and it won't ever stop.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
That's a great tagline.
For those who don't know, I have no expectations for it.
I have no expectations for Dark Fate, but I really hope it's good because I like Linda Hamilton.
It's a Terminator sequel after T2. The law of nature suggests it will be garbage. That is how things work. We have more bad Terminator films than we do good Terminator
films. It could be more Terminator 3 than it is Terminator Genesis. So I'd be happy about that, you know?
Yeah, but also Salvation.
I'd take that. Salvation's dull as fucking dishwater,
but made for a great on-rail shooter arcade game. The Salvation Cabinet was always really good.
As great as on-rail shooter arcade games can be good.
Hey, it was a comedically oversized gun.
It's a comedically oversized gun. They did the Rambo game with the same setup.
Oh, fuck that game. The game they just cloned and put on disc and said, here's a PS3 title.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, basically.
Like, what works on a screen in an arcade does not bloody translate directly to a PS3 screen.
I know, I played several home versions of House of the Dead games.
I don't know, the Wii version's kind of fun.
It's alright, but the Wii lends itself.
Yeah.
And I've also got Overkill, which is the console-specific House of the Dead game.
Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a gun plug-in for it?
No, because it came out on Wii. It was originally exclusive. They later released it with Move support on the PlayStation 3. Which I have got, but the Move peripheral is not very good, so I haven't really played much of it.
You kept your Move peripheral.
I've got the Move stuff, but
oh my god, you are already ahead of the game for VR.
Yes,
because every time I've looked at VR, every time I've had disposable income and thought maybe I'll get VR, like maybe it's gone down to like 200 or something, and I'm like, go on, sod it, like let's get it, like a bundle. If it was in a bundle for 200 for the headset and like 4 games and a newer camera or whatever, I'm like, sure, absolutely. But then I go, oh wait, most of the stuff I'd want to play, you need the Move controller with.
I mean, I've played
like Rush of Blood and Batman Arkham VR and things like that. But the Move controllers, they don't stock them new.
No.
They released some again when VR first came out.
But they're expensive as shit.
It's ridiculous. And yet, about in the year 2-3 years before VR came out, they were throwing them away for like a tenner.
You could not fucking give them away.
It's hilarious.
But I think the batteries on mine are fucked. I'm not sure. I need to actually try, because I don't think I have room for the PlayStation camera setup that you need for the PS3 Move stuff in my.
Yeah.
I've moved some things around. I'm gonna try it again because I've got House of the Dead 4 and 3. I've got House of the Dead Overkill. I've got Dead Space Extraction, which like Overkill was a Wii game.
Mm-hmm.
A Wii exclusive rail shooter that they then ported to the PlayStation Move. I've got some PlayStation Move compatible stuff that I'd like to actually play.
Mm-hmm.
Sports Champions, which is the Wii Sports sort of rip-off.
The Wii has not survived different types of TVs, by the way, really. I don't use mine too often simply because
it's a fucker.
It with the sensor, to be honest, because my TV, dear listener, is on the wall, and so the sensor is just above it. But if you move the sensor below it, because obviously the way you meant to set it up is the sensor's just above or just below. If the sensor is below it, it freaks out because you have to aim up at my TV, and it doesn't quite understand what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
And with it being above it, it's fine. But the third party controller I've got as my second controller freaks out and doesn't understand what the hell's going on.
Well, that's more because you've got a third party controller.
That's true. But it works fine. It works fine for something like
third
Mario
party...
Kart or like when you're actually controlling a game.
Third party controllers are, generally more a higher quality than they used to be. But that you still.
I don't know. I've still got 2 of my third party PlayStation 2 controllers in that box over there, and they work better than the actual Sony ones.
All but one of my GameCube controllers are third party.
What I love about them as well is they always have like a turbo button or something like that, and it never does anything. Doesn't do anything.
And that's all over from like days of the old arcade games.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Like, we got your turbo SNES controller with all these switches on it. What do these switches do? They make the buttons press faster.
I couldn't think of a better way to describe Bloodshot, really.
Hey!
To be honest, it's a holdover from the arcade era, and it's got some fun stuff.
It looks neat. It looks like it could be neat.
Next trailer that came out this week was some little fucking like forgettable sci-fi.
Not heard about this before. The Star Wars.
Are we pronouncing this right? the rise of Skywalker.
It'll be some weird sci-fi fantasy pronunciation, so it'll be Skywalker.
Skywalker.
No,
Let's just go see Alita again.
Star Wars. No, thank you.
To own the libs.
4 years free.
Let's go see Alita to own those libs.
Alita, the film that would not end. And it's not even that long. Yeah. It's not even that long.
And it's not, I like it. It's not even that terrible, really.
No,
like, on reflection, I'm like, yeah, actually, I did have fun with it. It just wasn't great.
It's like, you know when you're eating a bowl of soup and you're like, this is nourishing and there's good stuff in it.
And then 15 minutes later, you're still going.
It's just
like,
it just never... Where's the bottom of this bowl of soup?
Do you know what I tend to do
looking at the bottom of the bowl to see if there's a fucking tube in it or something. The bowl's not even that deep, but there's just still soup in the bowl.
You shouldn't accept soup from Mary Poppins. This is how this works. Do you know what I tend to do with soup now? I have some bread with it, and then as soon as the bread's done, I'm like, right, pick up the bowl, drink the fucker. Just so I know it's gone.
But then it doesn't end!
Oh my god!
End!
Oh, it's like that bit in the Treehouse of Horror where Homer's just eating the endless donuts in hell.
You're just drinking for 6 days.
More.
It's like, I've got to take a breath before if I don't finish this soup now, it'll never be finished. That's Alita Battle Angel in film form. But yes.
But tell you what will finish, Matt.
The saga.
Although it will live on forever.
The saga
it will finish, but it will live on forever.
The saga will live on forever.
The Star Wars saga. Rise of Skywalker final trailer. I'm kind of looking forward to this movie. I'm rewinding before seeing this trailer on Tuesday. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this movie. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Last Jedi. It did kind of take the wind out of my sails a bit, but I do like the new characters. I'd like to see more of them. So I was excited to revisit them. I was interested to see how the saga would wrap up now that the guy who wrote chapter 1 of the saga is coming back to do chapter 3. I wondered if thematically it would just make me like The Last Jedi a bit more in retrospect, because it would be like, there's this kind of, The Last Jedi would then become even more of an empire for me, in that it's the weird odd one of the three that shakes things up. Like, as it is now, I wasn't a fan, but I think if it turns out to be... If it turns out to retroactively very much be the Act 2 of a 3-act structure, then I would probably respect it and revisit it. I like the emphasis on practical effects that they were implying was going to be back in this one.
Yep.
Because they did lose that a bit in Last Jedi. They went a bit more CGI with the creatures and the characters and stuff. So I was a little excited to see a return to more...
not that much. It was mainly the horse creatures on Canto Bight that were CGI.
Well, a lot of Canto Bight for me. The fact that Canto Bight felt very much like, we're in the prequels.
Yeah.
Like we're in a green screen room.
Yeah. But then you go to stuff like Luke's Island.
That was great.
Very practical.
That was great.
Like the weird cow creatures are very practical.
I still think weirdly my favourite location of the sequel trilogy so far is Maz's Cantina.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking great.
It's just so... Like, and everyone goes, it's just like Mos Eisley. I'm like, well,
that's the point.
You can't help but think that because it's Star Wars and it's the first of a trilogy, and they're visiting a cantina to get some help from someone of ill repute, and I get it.
It's got the weird sort of
the
weird music,
which
is great.
That variety of characters, and they don't linger on them; they're just there, and you're like, what the hell? So I was looking forward to this. How are you feeling pre this final trailer? Were you looking forward to Rise? I was like, I just want to see what they do. I want to see what they want to see what happens. Solo hadn't sort of made you go.
No, Solo was fine. Solo was better than it had any right to be. Like I'm astonished that film came out and was as watchable as it was.
Traveling alone. No name. Let's call you Han Solo. Han Solo. Han Bob Top. Han Billy No Mates.
Han
No Mates. Han
Forever Alone.
Han #Forever Alone. Han Friendzone.
Han Friendzone.
Han Friendzone. Jesus. How do you feel after this trailer?
I can feel the love of Star Wars that I have running through my veins like liquid hot gold, I am so jazzed.
Is it like
I'm
a million?
So jazzed.
Is it like a
for
million
Rise of
voices of
Skywalker.
doubt cried out and then was silenced forever?
Oh, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care if this movie is total shit. Give me a 2-hour loop of Kylo Ren walking through the waterfall, switching his saber grip.
Yes.
Just give me 2 hours of that.
There's some lovely striking shots in this trailer. Holy shit. There are some really nice striking shots. Kylo and Rey in the second Death Star throne room. And that weird, creepy juxtaposition of Rey by the throne and Kylo further back stood where fucking Luke was, like, throughout that scene in Jedi.
And just what they're going to do with Palpatine. Like, I'm just fascinated to see
like,
what they're going to do with Palpatine.
We hear him, we see his throne, and I mean palace throne, as in Ralph McQuarrie sketches from back in the day of this big
Not the fucking
arachnid-esque, like, limbed throne. We see, presumably, the side of him on some kind of mechanical thing in the final shots before the title, where he's lingering in the side and Rey's looking up like, what the fuck?
I think he's gonna be
Mecha Emperor.
I think he's going to be mostly a ghost.
Yeah,
Mostly
true, but we never saw.
But we never Star Destroyer rising from the ocean.
We never saw him die.
True. And it was also like not even Star Destroyers, like not first understand, like fucking Imperial Star Destroyers. Oh shit! All right. And 2 massive.
Is someone raising that from the water?
Probably.
Like the like the X-wing in Empire.
Maybe.
Like, is someone raising that from the water?
Why not?
Are we talking some super powerful, fucking scary Jedi Sith shit here?
Yeah.
I love the look of our principals in this one.
Yeah.
Finn's ditched the jacket, which makes me sad.
But
that's hopefully because it's hung up on Poe's bedpost.
Poe's
Seriously, put them together, please.
Poe's doing his best Nathan Drake.
Yes. Oh, jeez, he's just straight up cosplaying him. It's nuts. I like Rey's outfit because it's sort of a mix of her Jedi training look from Last Jedi and her outfit from Force
Daisy
Awakens.
Ridley's so fucking good.
She's
so good.
She's adorable.
She's just...
like, in interviews, she comes across as one of the loveliest, bubbliest, silliest people ever. And then in this, it's like, yeah, no, I totally believe that you could fight off a bunch of stormtroopers.
Rey's got a fucking steel backbone.
But at the same time, and feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be killing people, but, like, you're doing what needs to be done for the good of everybody. Like, you can see a weight on her now that she has more of a key role.
Yeah.
For everybody who's like, oh, Mary Sue. Like, sure, if that's how you feel, but, like...
Sure, if that's how you feel, but go for it.
Luke mastered the Force super freaking quick in the first one, considering what you're all arguing Rey shouldn't be able to do. Like, do you know what I mean? One training session with a flying ball shooting at you in a ship's, like, lounging area does not a Jedi master
But in the expanded universe, Chris! But in the expanded universe!
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it does. It's just a different one. There's lots of Luke learning Jedi stuff in the Marvel comics.
Which is
getting a new number 1, by the way. They're
going back.
They're bringing the current series to an end and then relaunching it with a new number 1 post Empire.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, right. So like everything they've done so far has been between...
is leading up to Empire.
Right.
And I believe it's post Empire they're doing the next series.
You know what they should totally do if they haven't already? I know obviously Marvel did the adaptations back in the day, but you know what they should totally do?
New adaptations. They've done new adaptations of all the films.
The current ones, yeah.
They've done comics adaptations of 7 and 8 and Solo and Rogue One.
Do New Hope, like in the lead up to the end of this run, and then do Empire, and then launch number 1 with the next one. Because how fucking cool would that be on your shelf for you to be like, right, there's the New Hope. Here's everything that happens in between it.
I don't know.
And then you can bookend it with the Empire.
That 77 A New Hope adaptation is charmingly shit.
Oh god. Oh god, all the Marvel comics where Chewbacca just looks like a dog.
Yeah.
They just draw a dog.
Yeah.
With a Sasquatch's physique.
They've re-released all that classic Star Wars
stuff.
they
put them out in the Essentials collection. The Epic, that's all. They put them out in the Epic collection.
It's all listed as Star Wars Legends.
Yes.
All the Dark Horse stuff as well is getting reprinted as part of that.
Good. I like how IDW and Dark Horse have still been making Star Wars books with Marvel and Disney. No, they
IDW have.
Oh no, that's it. Sorry, no, the Dark Horse stuff's been getting the new collections coming out.
It's getting
IDW
by Marvel.
IDW have been making stuff.
They've done the Star Wars Adventure stuff, the all ages stuff,
the all ages stuff, which is like, why not do that through Marvel, but I guess it's probably a distribution thing and like a brand confusion. I don't know. Have you seen the new toys that have come out as well? The little cartoony style ones. There's some in our local supermarket of choice.
I have not.
They're like £9. If they were like, I know it sounds weird. If they were like £7, I'd totally buy a few of them. They're very Disney Toy Box esque.
Oh, okay.
But a little more stylized and with better paint apps. They're very cool.
I have seen some very cool.
Some
very cool. Rise of Skywalker stuff because they had the Force Friday.
Yeah.
And released a bunch of shit. And yeah, there's some good stuff.
There's
some good stuff.
I would like. I've not seen it yet, and based on lack of information, we'll probably never see it. But I'd like a figure of the Mandalorian. The Black Series figure of him looks really cool.
Yeah.
And I'd at least like to get hold of Rey and Kylo Ren from the new one. Because I'm not collecting them anymore, but then I would at least have a Rey and a Kylo from each of the sequel trilogy films.
I want Sith Rey that we saw in the first trailer.
I'm starting to think that's part of a hallucination or a
You know what
sequence.
I think it is?
What?
I think she goes to the Force Cave on Dagobah. And it's a rehash of the Luke fighting Vader sequence from Empire where it's his face and the Vader's mask.
Have you seen that cosplay photo from NYCC of everybody who was
all the Reys lined up doing the finger click?
That's
really
great.
good.
That is such a cute picture.
No one likes his characters. Yeah, fuck you.
It's not for you then. It's not for you. It isn't for you.
And that's okay. Like, it's okay for it to not be for you.
Yeah.
Zombieland Double Tap is not for me because I like good films.
Oh! What a great segue. So, if one line from 3PO over the course of 10 seconds could make us feel warm in our jellies...
It does.
It's a shame that 99 minutes of Zombieland Double Tap didn't quite deliver anything for us. Clarification. I'm a big fan of Zombieland. I love it. I loves me some comedy horror, and I thought the execution of that one back in 2009 was so well done. It strikes a wonderful tone between grim and depressing and sort of morbidly funny and
the first
occasionally crass. It feels like the zombie equivalent of the first series of Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't shy away from, this situation is the bleakest thing ever, and we're probably never going to see a brighter day.
It is something of a deconstruction of the genre.
Doesn't mean we can't bitch and have a laugh and take the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, one of my favourite bits ever in the whole thing is just literally Columbus sort of contradicting Tallahassee briefly, and Woody Harrelson, in the best sort of casual delivery ever, just says, "Do you want to see how hard I can punch?" No? Okay then. And it's just
Woody Harrelson is great in that movie. They're all great.
The four are great in it. The tiny Abigail Breslin doesn't get swamped by rising star at that point Emma Stone, or rising star Jesse Eisenberg, or
one of their careers went better than the others.
Set star Woody Harrelson. Like the central four of Columbus and Wichita and Little Rock and Tallahassee and Zombieland is one of the reasons why it sticks out.
Yeah.
People remember it fondly for how grim it kind of was. The weird Family Guy-esque zombie kill of the week segments that are cut into it are quite funny to watch in the original film. There's, of course, like the infamous sequence with Bill fucking Murray, which is such a funny, brilliant idea. They get to LA on the way to Pacific Playland and decide to use a celebrity map of homes to find the home of Bill Murray because it's where Tallahassee wants to stay, and it results in them finding Bill Murray is still alive but dresses up as a zombie and pretends to be one so he can go out and play golf. It's just like
fucking great. There's
some great stuff in that original one. It's so much fun. It's short, sweet. It's an hour 25 long. The climax, though fun, it's kind of, it feels like a weirdly rushed one. Lucy and I revisited it the night before we went to see Zombieland Double Tap.
Yeah.
And when Wichita moves on, and like she and Little Rock just move on, leave the Murray household, and go to Pacific Playland at night and turn on all the lights, it does, for those characters, feel like a weirdly stupid move. Like, it's really dumb. But 2 minutes later...
Oh, so I guess Double Tap's consistent with that in that respect.
Well, 2 minutes later, the film's distracting you anyway, because you're like, oh my god, it's a zombie sequence in a fairground at night, and they're using the rides to get away from them. And you get hit with so much fun that you kind of forgive the weird character inconsistency because it led to this set piece. You're like, sure, whatever. Tallahassee riding around on a small roller coaster shooting at zombies that are climbing up it is a lot of fun to
I
watch.
guess
The sequence with him in the teddy booth, and he just lines up the cartridges along the thing, and he's just bang, fire, 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 bang, fire. Because we're meeting them for the first time, the characters are well defined. Like Eisenberg is, I think it's another Social Network. Obviously, is like quite a high point for him, but I think Zombieland's my favorite Jesse Eisenberg role.
Yeah.
As Columbus, because he's just very likable. He's very aware of his neuroses and how irritating he can be.
Yeah.
The few times where to the viewer he's a bit like, oh god, that's annoying, Tallahassee will obviously say or do something that makes you go, oh thank god. Like, someone's there to shut him up.
Yeah.
But he's pretty charming. He makes a believable leading man in an apocalypse scenario in a way where the film goes, yep, we know, he's not the obvious leading man, but hey, what about this? And you're like, okay, fine, sure.
He's genre savvy.
Harrelson's a great foil for him. Emma Stone is wonderfully kind of stony. Ha-ha! In that first one. Abigail Breslin is adorable and charming in it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's great stuff. So, when I saw the second one was finally coming out, a decade later, I was like, cool. Alright. Fair enough. Let's see what you got. You guys, the guys who wrote it, have gone away and written 2 Deadpool movies in the interim.
Yeah.
You nearly got to do what you wanted in the first place and turn Zombieland into a TV show, which was what they originally wanted to do by doing an Amazon pilot, which wasn't too well received because it was a little too snappy, a little too gaggy, a little too punchy. But sure, and also it's hard for people to buy the characters they liked so much in the film being played by new people in a remake of it. Like, the TV series should have been other characters.
Yeah, it's difficult to do that. But then they would have just made...
The actors did a good job. Like, they did a really good job.
But if they were different characters, they just would have written the same character with different names.
Probably.
That's what they would have done.
That might have been at least digestible. Because it's like, so you're not carrying on the film, but we get a taste of what the film's like characters were like.
Yeah.
You know, there's ways to do it, but it's like, hey, they finally got their way because they've had some hits under their belt in the interim, and obviously the Central Four have been approached and gone, do you know what? We clearly had enough fun on the last one. Yes, let's do it. Let's do one more. And
Ruben
let's
Fleischer
tell
as a director obviously got a bit of weight to throw around after the success of Venom.
Yeah,
which is you know one of the most successful shit films I think I've ever seen in my life.
The second most, as of last week, the second most successful R-rated movie ever released, financially, after Joker, and followed very closely by It Chapter 1, I think.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, there's a pedigree. We didn't like Venom. And Deadpool 2, though entertaining, and I do really enjoy Deadpool 2, it's nowhere near as sharp as Deadpool. And
no.
Deadpool 2, the difference between Deadpool and Deadpool 2 in the writing of it is Tim Miller. Director of the first one, Tim Miller wasn't involved in the second one. So this is them, after this string of hits, coming back to write, and one of them direct, a sequel to their 2009 now cult hit, without Ryan Reynolds' input, obviously, or Tim Miller's input, and it does show. Our brief spoiler-free thoughts.
But also, before we do our brief spoiler-free thoughts, look at what Ruben Fleischer did after the original Zombieland.
What did he do after the original Zombieland?
30 minutes
as a director.
30 minutes or less in 2011.
Okay.
God awful and makes a comedy film out of a pretty horrible real life criminal case.
Yeah. Oh god. Wait, that's the. Oh.
Yeah.
That's the one about the pizza guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's horrible.
It's fucking gross.
Okay.
And not a good film.
But continuing his tradition for darkly grim comedy scenarios, even if it is disgustingly insensitive.
It's not even darkly grim though. It's just stupid.
Oh,
it's a stupid.
They play it up as a goof fest.
Oh yeah.
Oh Christ.
Gangster Squad, which by all accounts
had a massive production thing where it was put back for like a year and a half and everything on its release.
And it's got the hell of it. It's got Sean Penn, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, it was the first teaming of Gosling and Stone, wasn't it? Yeah.
So like, oh fuck.
So I think those two recovered.
And then Venom.
Venom.
I needed a bunch of TV stuff in between Gangster Squad and Venom.
I got to pay bills, didn't you?
5 years before he got another film out after Gangster Squad.
Wow.
So I think Venom bought him a lot of goodwill within the production. Not with audiences, because Well, no, with audiences, because
there is a violently passionate fan base for that movie. There are people who enjoy it as a goof. There are people who enjoy it because they're like, yeah, no, it's fine. And there are people who are like, fuck you, it's the greatest comic book movie ever made.
I don't want to be like,
you Disney shill.
I don't want to be intellectually elitist here.
Please be.
But I think the people who love Venom are not people who look for directors' names when they're looking for other films to like. So I don't think in that sense Venom bought him a lot of goodwill with audiences. Because I think the people who liked Venom don't care who directed it.
Yeah, so when they started advertising this with the director of Venom, even those people wouldn't be fussed.
Yeah.
Whereas with those, it just made us go, really? I mean,
really?
I get it financially.
I mean, it's the biggest financial success, but it's also not the best movies I've made. I'd argue it's only better than 30 minutes or less because 30 minutes or less is so fucking gross.
3-4 minutes after the mid-credit scene rolled last night, just before we left the cinema, you turned to me and you said, I think the first Zombieland might have been a fluke.
Yep.
I have to agree.
Yep.
Our spoiler-free thoughts for Zombieland Double Tap, folks. I recommend watching Zombieland. It's probably on a streaming platform for free. If not, it's probably on for very cheap to rent.
Yeah.
I do recommend it. If you see it in a DVD bundle, look at HMV at some point, get it. It's a lot of fun. This one is more of the same, emphasis on the more, because they Family Guy it so much. They find jokes that they turn into recurring jokes that weren't that funny to begin with.
Yeah.
But that's okay, we can fill time by repeating them.
It's like the 4th season of a sitcom, which is still relying on the same character catchphrases and...
Imagine if the Fresh Prince only ever relied on Uncle Phil throwing Jeff out of the house. If that happened every episode, and that was the only joke after like a 5-minute period. Sure, it's funny, but 2-3 episodes into your new season, you'd be like, is this it? Is that all they're giving us? It's kind of like, each initial delivery is like, okay, sure. And each initial delivery is like, yeah, sure, that's funny. And then it just dies out super quick because it's more of the same. There's a recurring gag which you'll see in the trailer of essentially a Tallahassee and Columbus duplicates arrive at one point. Yeah. And you're like, wait, what?
I mean, we'll get into the whys and wherefores in spoilers.
Yeah, but like that is a joke that takes up the next 10 minutes of the film.
Imagine...
And it doesn't impact the story.
Without
doesn't get funnier beyond the initial,
Without wanting to be too spoilery, it's that one gag from Shaun of the Dead, which is, 20 seconds? But stretched out
there's like a minute of dialogue and then 20 seconds of characters walking past each other.
But stretched out for 15 minutes or or what feels like 15 minutes at least.
But in a fitting of this movie for me, every time it taketh away, it always gaveth a little something. So like that unnecessary joke led to my favourite visual sequence in the whole movie at the end of that joke. Once again, they cast up. Everybody is pedigree in this. Everybody is great. Nobody goes for a shitty comic delivery. The downside to that is you can only do so much if the material you're working with is shit.
And it's very poor in this. It's a very poor script.
Yeah, it is. The first one works because I guess it was just refreshing, really.
The comedy material
America does Shaun of the Dead. They don't do it exactly the same, and it's like Shaun of the Dead is very British. Zombieland is very American.
The comedy material
both work quite well. This is just like it's fratty.
It's dated.
Yeah.
And
had this come out, I think we would have received this better. Weirdly, had it come out in 2010.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
2010, 2011, direct sequel. We would look back on this a lot better, I think. But it does feel. And now the film also tries to establish the idea that they've not moved on, because obviously
culturally they've not moved on since 2009, which makes sense.
But like, that doesn't mean the humour has to be stuck in that period.
Because it would not surprise me if big chunks of this script and specific gags date back to the time of the original movie.
Yeah.
And ideas that they had bouncing around for a sequel or the series.
It also assumes that everyone remembers the original movie in a cultural osmosis kind of way.
Yeah.
In like everybody knows time to nut up or shut up. It's like, no, I think people who are aware of the film Zombieland remember him saying that the 2 times he says it in the film.
Yeah, they double down on that shit here. It's like a sketch show which doubles down on the catchphrases in later series.
Actually, there's one recurring gag they never bring up once. The Twinkies.
Oh, yeah.
The Twinkies never get brought up.
Nope.
Bill Murray gets brought up.
But
in 2 different ways.
They replaced the Twinkies gag
Mm.
with another gag, which is never really referenced in the first movie.
Which one?
They replaced Twinkies with Elvis.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
yeah.
almost as...
He like mentions Elvis once in the first, but it's not like a key character trait.
No.
But it provides an entire motivation and a bunch of set pieces in this one. I don't know. There's some really good gore. There's some really fun zombie action. There's some really fun zombie kills. There's some really cool post-zombie apocalypse like cultural ideas.
Mm.
There's a location in the film called Babylon, which is a pacifist's retreat.
Pacifist commune.
Which, when you look at how they've done it, you're like, yeah, okay.
Until you actually...
These guys have definitely survived for 10 years in this world with this system, and I can see how. Because they're walled off just enough.
See, I can't.
But to be fair, they up the stakes in the film of how the virus is changing. Which is pretty unique for a lot of... I don't know many zombie things that actually do that idea of like, oh, the virus adapts over time because food is running out.
What I can't understand is how that... I mean, we'll go more into this in spoilers, but how that society got established in the first place.
Yes, it either has to have already existed in some form prior to it all going to shit, or they have somehow managed to cobble it together. But I thought
we'll talk about that more in spoilers.
Yeah, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is where the third act's going to take place.
Oh, yeah. Because again, this film's nothing if not predictable.
Yes, that's another big
And predictable in all the worst ways.
The new cast are all pretty fine. They're just, again, like I said, they're getting shit to work with.
Yeah.
The original 4 are great. The film wastes Abigail Breslin by removing her from the equation for large chunks of it, which motivates the plot, but doesn't make use of an actor who has, of course, changed and grown and done different shit since she last did this at the age of, 13.
Of the 4 leads, like, she's the one who has the most capacity for development.
Yeah.
Because she's literally grown from a child to an adult in the time between the first between the first film and this.
Mm.
So why not... And, like,
why not bank on that and tell more story
her maturation is a plot point, but it's only ever a plot point. It's never actually treated as character.
Yeah.
They never explore it in any meaningful way other than saying that this thing is a motivation for her, and that's it. It's never demonstrated to be that.
Yeah, it's just, she is plot device, we touch on it, and now they're all back together.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sucks. But, you know, whatever, fine, cool. Emma Stone is fine, feels a little wasted a bit because they sort of regress the character almost.
The movie in general is very regressive.
Yeah.
Its humour's very regressive.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I don't know. Do I recommend, if you're a fan of the original, do I recommend seeing it?
No.
I say yes if you want to spend more time with those 4 characters.
Yeah, I guess.
If you're not fussed about spending more time with them, don't bother. If you do want to see it, I'd wait for streaming or cheap rental. Don't take the trip to the cinema unless you're going to double bill it with another film of equalish like length and make a night of it.
The problem with this, my biggest problem with this film is that it's a horror comedy which is neither funny nor scary.
Yeah.
Either intentionally or otherwise. And it just...
It was never enough of a balance of both.
I just spent more time sighing than I did laughing.
You did. You spent a lot of time scratching your beard, and you always scratch your beard.
I'm a beard
but
scratcher.
Like you were overly scratching it as though it was something to occupy your time.
Well, there's 2 kinds of beard stroke. This won't make sense to you on an audio medium, but there's 2 kinds of beard stroke.
You say that, but your beard stroke does make appearances throughout the podcast.
There's intrigued Beardstroke.
Let's hear the intrigued one. Get closer to the mic. Christmas Town.
This is concerned Beardstroke. And that's me grinding my hairs together between my thumb and forefinger.
There was a lot of that one last night.
Just like,
Yeah. So that's Matt's review. Concerned Beardstroke.
Concerned Beardstroke. Let's do spoilers.
Let's go knee deep into spoilers. Let's get Rock.
Let's get the big things out of the way.
Okay.
The most prominent new character from the trailers, Madison, played by
Zoe Deutsch.
Absolutely horrendous, like lowest common denominator, dumb blonde stereotype, sexist bullshit characterization.
Yeah.
Fair play to Zoe Deutsch. She does what she can with the material, but it's just
she finds
painfully unfunny.
She finds enough of an angle of her own to make her delivery quite unique, and she is not unlikable. Like,
but she's just
per se, like the character.
She's not unlikable.
I think ultimately you do feel sorry for the character more than anything.
Yeah,
but as an element in the comedy movie, it's just like tiresome gags.
I think I felt sorry for the character, but I think the movie wants you to hate her as much as the other characters do.
I couldn't.
Because it's merciless about it.
I couldn't hate her as much as the characters did, but I think that's because I was looking at the meta level of like, my God, Zoe, you are trying so hard here.
But she's just...
And there's some bits that got a proper chuckle out of me from her just because of her twist on the delivery. I described it before as like a very Matt Berry-esque approach to certain lines.
Yeah, she's good at twisting words out of their normal shape.
Yeah.
In an entertaining way.
Yeah.
But that's about the most interesting thing she could do with the material, because it is so trite and dated. Like,
and the film is mean as fuck to her.
It's really nasty to her.
Yeah.
Like, she's an utter punching bag for the film. And to the point where we get a fake out where for a good chunk of the film we think she's been turned and Columbus has had to kill her. We later find out that's not the case, which is fairly predictable. I was sort of 50-50 onto it. Because basically she gets sick after eating nuts and they think that she's succumbing to the zombie virus.
Yeah, they make a big point of the fact she and Wichita are eating trail mix.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, she's clearly having an allergic reaction. But then, as far as you're aware, you don't see it happens off screen.
Yeah, they sort of play it out long enough that you're like, no, maybe not.
She maybe is actually turning.
Maybe she is actually turning. Okay.
And then they play it as if Columbus has killed her, but of course you don't see the shots. And then you find out later on that she survives. She's had an allergic reaction, and she catches up with them. And how she catches up with them, I don't know, because she displays no. Like how she survived
There's a lot of that.
for 10 years.
There's a lot of that in the first film too, though.
Yeah.
Like when we first meet Wichita and Little Rock, they steal. Oh my God, I'm having a moment. Tallahassee's truck.
Yeah.
And then they steal another car from the neighborhood, and they drive further along, and they find the truck like out of gas and screwed in the middle of a highway. So the first film kind of very lightly just you assume, oh, everybody takes the same kind of main roads when traveling cross country.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this it is like there's a lot of country roads in this, and you're like, how the fuck are they all running into each other
also,
again?
how does she know where they're going? You know, she's never really displayed any kind of competence at anything.
At that point, it doesn't make sense because they've already been to Graceland, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to the Graceland thing in a second once we finish with Madison.
Because at least with that, it made sense. Because it was like, how do we find Little Rock? Well, we know that she mentioned she already got Graceland, so they're going on a hunch.
Yeah.
And like that makes sense. That's how they find the tavern, because it's like, sure, like, cool, fine. It's a point of interest.
It's just really awful. Let's laugh at this woman.
Yeah.
Humor, which is just. Can we get past it, please? Can we not do it anymore? We've done it. Like, we've been doing it for fucking decades. Can we just stop? The
one funny bit from her in terms of delivery, and when the film was like, no, okay, this character's funny, was it was the way they let her sort of basically state her intent of sleeping with Columbus, where like they got to the bedroom, she was like, I don't really want to tour, and he's like, oh, okay. And she was starting, and he obviously feels awkward because he broke up a month ago at Wichita, And then she just, like, snaps at him and goes, like, look, I've been in a freezer for 10 months. I want to get my end
10
away.
years.
10 years. I want to get my end away. And you better say yes. Or I will have to work up the courage.
We're either doing this,
we're either doing this,
doing the old
or
guy.
or I'm working up the courage to fuck the old guy. Something like that. And then he's like,
all right.
Okay.
And that's that's a fair, understandable human reaction. And
but then the character
that's the most depth she ever gets.
But that's the thing. The character then doesn't have any agency or attitude again after that point.
Also, how the fuck has she survived in a freezer for 10 years?
Because later on she's sarcastic briefly, and again the moment's nice just because the way she and Eisenberg deliver it, and because Wichita goes like, "Was that sarcasm?" And she sort of is like, "Huh?" And she looks over to him, and he sort of gives a nod of like, "Yes," and she goes, and it's like a little victory, like, yay, I did it. And like little moments like that are funny, but like you say, she's just a punching bag beyond the sex scene.
There's no
even the sex scene is a punchline, but at least in that it's her punchline that she commands. But then after that, she is just a punching bag for the movie.
Let's talk about.
Can we talk about Little Rock and what's his fuck Berkeley?
Berkeley.
So
fucking Berkeley as well. He's another
again like
dumb shit stereotype.
There's you could do more. Here's the biggest problem with this: we meet so many dumb shits in this movie.
Like
in
the entirety of Babylon
in the first
feels
film,
like a big middle finger to millennials in general.
In the first film, there are 6 credited characters in the first film. There are 6 credited characters when those end credits roll, and that's Columbus, Wichita, Tallahassee, Little Rock, Bill Murray. And 406, who is Columbus's roommate. He was 407 and 406 was his roommate, played by Amber Heard.
Yes, and she gets a shout out, a very brief shout out in this.
In a way that, again, like, I don't know if that would hit everybody.
No.
It's such a weird thing. Like, yes, you are hot. 406 hot. And it's like, right, I only remember what that means because I watched the first one the night before.
Yeah.
So, but like that's it for the first one. So we meet the 4 central characters, none of whom are stupid. Like Tallahassee's headstrong and bumbling sometimes, but they make a big point early on of he found his calling once the apocalypse began.
Yeah,
like he is a zombie killing machine.
Yeah, and
he is very good at it.
Yeah.
So none of the characters are dumb. Like stupid in places, yes, but they're not dumb. They are as flawed as human beings are. 406 is not dumb. She's a terrified young woman who we feel sorry for in the flashback, and then she turns and she's a terrifying creature. And Bill Murray is a wonderful comic interlude in the middle of the film, in the middle of the second act, and it works really well, and it's really funny and memorable. In this movie, we meet a lot more of other people.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them-ish, are intelligent human beings, and that is basically Rosario Dawson's character who runs the Elvis Memorial Place just outside of Graceland.
Yeah,
and Columbus's double played by Thomas Middleditch, who is still just a daft caricature, but at least is like a sensible human being. These are the only 2 characters. Maybe also Luke. What's his name?
Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson. Him too. Like you can believe those 3 have survived the 10 years so far, but everyone else you meet, you're like, no. Like Madison included, everyone else you meet, you're like, you should be dead.
Well, you can kind of believe
you should be dead in this world.
Yeah, the thing that gets me is how the fuck did they establish Babylon?
Yeah.
How did a bunch of pacifists who were only children at the time of the original outbreak, so therefore grown up in a post-zombie world?
I mean, if they could fill the gaps, maybe their gun-loving parents set up the community, and then over time, like people have lost and died, and they've set up that mission statement of right from now on, that is it, no more violence. We just look out for each other here. We grow stuff.
It just doesn't make. And as soon as okay, there are plenty of things in plenty of films I like that don't make sense as soon as you think about them, but this is just such one. It's just such a big one.
Yeah,
this is just like
and also just that recurring gag of group sex. Like, there's only 2 things things we don't allow here. That's guns and group sex. When they first said it was like, okay, that's a weird thing to point. It's not a punchline,
but that's that guy.
That's a weird thing to point out.
That guy. That's all he does is make that gag.
Yeah, like later on, they're hugging. He's like, I said no group sex. Oh, go on then, group sex. You're like, what?
What? It's not funny. What? It's not funny. It's not a joke.
But then it makes you again think back to like, why is that a rule then? Why is that a rule?
Don't know.
Why is that a rule? Huh?
Don't know.
Is it a rule so that he can hilariously contradict himself later by offering on 3 occasions to have group sex with everybody? Why?
It's not funny. It's not a funny joke.
Berkeley is... Again, Berkeley would work in another film.
Yeah.
Because the idea of the douchebaggy, hippie-esque, weed-smoking guy who charms the girl who's been sheltered and not really met another boy her age, like, in a scenario where
Like
that's not
passing
easy.
off Bob Dylan and
Like, that's funny. And I did like the bit
his
toward
own.
the end when she was like, oh, for God's sake, like, even a 10-year-old knows who Bob Dylan is, you fucking poser. It's like, you're like, okay, that's kind of funny. She's just gone along with it because she's like, this guy's fit.
Yeah.
Sure, fine, whatever. That's okay, cool. But you question how the fuck he has survived over 10 years.
Yeah. Just
We see
walking around with a guitar.
that he's in an abandoned attic in a building on a roadside. You know, that was another thing about this film. There's maybe 2 scenes that take place within small town America.
Yeah.
The rest of it is random buildings along the road.
Yeah.
Even Babylon is just a random block of flats in the middle of nowhere. There's no overgrown buildings outside it that suggest it was part of a development or something. It's really, really weird. Like it when you see it, it's obviously a business or a research center or something like that. Because you see it from above at one point, and there's all these trendy kind of walkways and curved entrances, and then the tower block. But it's like, what is that? Why is it so far away from everything else?
It feels like they were trying to make some statement on like pacifist left-wing millennials or some shit, but then forgot to actually write any jokes.
Yeah.
Because I just don't understand how any of those characters are alive in that world.
Yeah, are they truly alive though?
Well,
Without guns,
without group sex.
Oh, that too.
Fucking hell.
The stakes get upped when you arrive there in the sense that because of their pacifism, they have one strict rule aside from the group sex one, which is they melt all the weapons down. And I'm like, okay, that'll be the location for Act 3.
Yeah. So there's
They'll
no
have to fend
like,
them off with no guns.
Yeah, and on these new T-800 zombies, which are stronger, faster, meaner, etc., etc.
Something the film does at the beginning, which I liked, but then it squanders, is they over the 10 years
They've got names for those different types of zombies
because they've figured out there are different ones. There's the Homer, which is just the dumb meandering thing. In the first one of those, we see they make an effort to make it a bald guy with a bit of hair over his
wearing
ears,
jeans and a white t-shirt.
Right. And there's a donut in the middle of the Homer graphic on screen. It's like, I wonder how much permission they had to get for that to even be a thing. But so the Homers are the zombies that are just dumb as fuck. Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Fine.
The Hawking are the
Or the
zombies.
Homers also have to be fat because fat people are funny.
Well, they do make jokes in the first one about cardio, and they describe the idea that, like, doesn't matter what size you are, the first people to die were the large and overweight people because they weren't prepared for the cardio and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, that's a point, but then, like you say, in this film, every person who's there is fat.
Yeah,
like who dies is sort of like a big, Yeah. Whereas again in the first one, there's 2 quote unquote fat jokes. The first one is the cardio rule, and you see a large guy getting caught up to by a zombie. He's running for his fucking life.
Yeah.
But the zombie just is quicker and manages to get him. And it's like, okay, fine, you're making a point about the cardio. And then the store where Tallahassee and Columbus meet Wichita in, they go to clear it out before they raid it, and there are 3 zombies in there, and they are massive guys. But the joke isn't that they're slow or lumbering. The implication is they've been gorging on everyone that was in here.
Yeah.
So they are just fat zombies, and it's like, okay, sure. This film, like you say, yeah, it's just it's funny because they're fat.
No, they're fat.
All the Homers are fat.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Which you could expand on. You could be like, if the virus infected corpse / individual is well fed, the brain has been shown to like reduce in activity and development.
Yeah, but that would require some thought.
Because I mean you could draw that out, but I don't think they intended it. Because the idea is that the scrawnier ones, or the ones that haven't eaten for a long time, become more intelligent in the hunt because they're desperate, because there is less food out there now. Because the next one is the Hawkings, which are basically zombies that actually have a bit more planning ability,
have some intelligence,
which is shown in a really cool little segment where it's chasing a scientist, and he uses an eye scanner to get into a lab and lock himself in it, and the zombie's like, right, I can't get in. It looks down at his dead colleague, starts biting his face, stands up immediately, opens her mouth, and uses the dead colleague's eye to open the scanner. It's like, that's creepy. I like where you're going with this. I wonder if they're going to do much with the Hawkings going forward. Not really. They're there, but they don't really show that they're cunning or anything.
No.
Then,
One can climb a ladder.
Then they introduce ninjas, which are never used apart from, like you said, maybe the one that's under the RV, under the tour bus.
Basically, zombies that are so stealthy you don't see them coming until it's too late.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the first you notice of them is the sound of your flesh being ripped away from your neck or whatever it was.
No,
Was it the first you'll ever...
The first you hear of them is your own screams.
Yeah. Which is, again, a cool line, like, holy shit.
But then they don't do anything with them.
But they don't do anything with them.
And also, the names don't all alliterate, so that laugh is
Homer,
gone.
Hawking, Ninja.
Something else. Yeah, it doesn't... Hawking is not a very good name for a smart zombie.
But then they imply throughout Act 1 that they've heard stories of there being something worse out there.
Well, they start to hear it once they venture outside of the White House.
Yeah, and that's the film's sort of one strength in terms of the horror. I like the idea of there's these ones that now are way more. You can still kill them by destroying the head, but you either have to shoot them in the brain at close proximity or destroy the head completely.
Yeah, they take a lot of punishment to
because the virus is fueling the body so much out of desperation and hunger that it is just dealing. Like they're even dodging shells and everything at one point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's a really cool idea that would work really well in a straight up horror or a much grimmer horror comedy film. This is definitely not as grim and is more goofy than the first one. So it never quite hits home. It's like you said before, tonal inconsistency. It just doesn't really work. I like the fact they call them the T-800. I think that's quite a nice little... Yeah, sure, that is what the geek would name the nearly invincible killing machine. They'd call it the T-800.
But they got to make sure that they have Columbus and the Thomas Middleditch character have a prolonged conversation about how great Terminator is and how smart he is.
Flagstaff, that's it.
Flagstick. Like, we're going to call him Flagstick now.
Let's get that gag out of the way as well. So those two... right, so they go to Graceland because that's a point of interest that Tallahassee's always said he wants to go and he wanted to take Little Rock. And...
Apropos of fuck all.
Because apparently Tallahassee is a huge Elvis fan.
Sure.
Which, again, like I said, I think he mentions him in the first one. But I think it was this film's attempt at going, would you remember how we hero worship Bill Murray? Let's do that again.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
There is a nice sequence with the first... They go to Graceland. The way it was shot and lit suggests to me they didn't get to film outside of Graceland. Because you never see it. You see, like, the edge of a building and a lawn statue.
Destroyed.
But you don't see...
It's not made clear in the way it's shot.
You don't see barren wasteland. You don't see a fucked up building.
It's so dark.
It looked like they were using the edge of the same exterior they used for the White House.
Yeah, probably.
It was like, what is this? But basically it's like, it's shit, let's leave. But it obviously isn't entirely shit. Because freaking a closing shot of the movie, they've obviously gone back and found that car that Tallahassee wanted to ride in. The fuck movie?
Because he makes a joke about pink Cadillac, so you got a pink Cadillac in it at some point.
It wasn't even that pink. Anyway, so they drive down the road and there's sort of this nice moment of like, when all hope's lost, occasionally the universe kind of gives you a nudge and they see this, which, again, a nice idea. The idea that all the lights are on outside this motel/museum/bar down the road. It probably exists because Rosario Dawson's character has left the lights on in case any travellers are going nearby. Because they find that the Beast is parked outside there, this car that Little Rock and Berkeley stole. And it's like, okay, cool. And there's a fun little sequence in there where, like, turns out the blue suede shoes, like the blue suede shoes, perfectly fit for Columbus and not Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Again, the chemistry of those two characters is fun to watch. Like when he first sort of just lifts his leg up and expects him to put the shoes on.
The chemistry between all four of the leads,
when all four of them are actually together,
it's still there and he's still great. But the jokes aren't funny.
Yeah.
The jokes aren't funny.
Although I did
comedy,
I did quite like the whole, but again, it's ruined in the trailer. The whole, like, I ain't telling you shit, cocks the gun. Hi, my name's Tallahassee. And, like, that is a fun joke. Like, but we saw it in both previous trailers. So
fucking Rosario Dawson just getting completely wasted as an actress.
Wonderful Rosario Dawson
with this fucking crass gag about driveways and who can park in it that they overdo. Just fuck off. Just fuck off with that.
just realised something.
What?
They make a big point of our two central male characters getting their end away during this movie.
Oh, yeah.
What about Wichita? When's she getting her end away?
With Columbus.
Yeah, but like that means that in this horrible apocalyptic scenario where the others are sort of forgiven for their momentary lapses or whatever, like no, she's the goodly woman, and she wouldn't dare do that. It's like, fuck off. Like, what would be interesting and more kind of more of a thing is if she'd also got with someone in some way.
Yeah, but this film isn't interested in anything that's interesting. It's interested in things that were funny 10 to 15 years ago.
True. I know.
I think I probably would have found this movie a lot funnier if I was 14 still.
Yeah. It doesn't make me retroactively like the first one less.
No,
but it does make me question like whether I love the first one because I saw it at the right time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. Like, but you try going back and watching Austin Powers movie now.
Oh no, I didn't do that anyway. I revisited them all about 6 years ago from now, so that a couple of them were barely 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I still stand by my belief that the 1997 movie Austin Powers International Man of Mystery is pretty funny. Some crass shit in there.
Yeah.
But it was like the first in a long time parody of Bond and that genre that kind of hit and worked and had that very British core to its sense of humour and everything.
But like
it's crass as hell, but it's still got that British charm.
Those movies were funny as shit when we was in high school.
Spy of Shagman Goldmember.
You try going back to one now. Just the thought of some of the shit that's in those films just makes me roll my fucking eyes, man.
Fook me and fook you.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Especially Goldmember.
Goldmember is abysmal.
I mean, by the time Goldmember came out, I was starting to get to the point where I was like, actually, maybe these aren't funny anymore.
There's someone listening to this right now being like, oh, shut up, like, just because they're not woke. No, it's not that they're breaking a boundary or anything. It's just that the jokes have aged like crap.
Yeah.
Because in the late 90s, early 2000s, this wave of comedies were coming out where the main appeal of them was that they were being outrageous and grotesque. And it was refreshing and hilarious to see the first time. But now that humour's evolved and people can be grotesque and outrageous and smart, it seems like going back to cave paintings on a wall after having sat there and watched George Perez break his wrist to draw the JLA.
A lot of that...
It's sort of like, oh, okay.
A lot of that comedy has aged like sun-dried yogurt. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Whereas the first one less so for me, because was clearly a one day I want to pastiche this genre. Yeah. Whereas the others are, how do we keep this joke going? And it's I mean just the two of us shit in the second one even just feels cringeworthy. Yeah. Why is Dr. Evil just randomly going into a rap sequence?
Because
why
is
this
that was a popular
happening?
song at the time.
Bullshit. No, well.
And
yeah, but then their version was released separately
because this man is small, like a child.
Oh god. Initial joke of Mini-Me's funny. The initial joke. The idea that he's creating a clone of himself as a companion and they've not quite perfected it, so the clone is literally a compartmentalised version of him. That's a funny joke. But then after that, the joke is just, Vern Troyer is small!
Yeah, and it's just like, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Like, in Spy of Shagmere, they're at least playing the idea of the clone has not quite worked.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets his own little cat and he tries to eat it. And stuff like that works. Cause it's like, oh, the clone isn't perfect. The fuck is going on here? But they're not making a joke out of the fact that he's a little person. They're making a joke out of the fact that this is a condensed, regressed
there is a
version
subtext of him of dehumanizing the person with dwarf.
Oh god, especially toward the end and the third movie, distinctly. Yeah. Good god.
So that's no good.
Michael Caine's in that third one, which just randomly reminded me of the trailer for The Gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
Where Hugh Grant is just being Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Which is charming as fuck.
Honestly, when I first saw that trailer, I was like, is that Griff Rhys-Jones?
He does look like Griff Rhys-Jones. It's the goatee, isn't it? It's the thingy beard.
It's fucking Hugh Grant, Jesus. Well, then I had the same thing with Charlie Hunnam and Tom Hardy.
Like, yes! Tom Hardy? What was it you said last night? Don't worry, Charlie Hunnam. The more you grow your facial hair,
if you've got a big beard, no one will notice that you're not Tom Hardy. It's
That was the highlight of the screening last night. Was the trailer for The Gentleman. That was my favourite part of what we watched.
No, Knives Out. Trailer for Knives Out.
But I'd already seen that.
Oh, that's fair.
So,
yeah, the entirety of the Knives Out trailer was funnier than the entirety of Zombieland Double Tap.
Let's give it its due. Let's hit stuff that we liked that we couldn't talk about in the first half.
I'll let you take this one.
Okay. I liked all of the White House centric jokes. I thought they were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because it kind of showed you that these characters haven't, like, they've not only, especially Tallahassee and Columbus, they've not lost their passion for the stuff they're interested in.
Yeah.
Like, that sort of kept them sane. But not only that, they share in their passions a bit by now.
Yeah.
Like, especially when they hear the weird noise and Tallahassee grabs, was it a big old musket?
Musket, yeah.
Musket,
Flintlock rifle.
and it's like George Washington's
It's
gun or
some,
something.
like, historical reference.
And he sort of tells him that as Columbus leaves the room, like he sort of shares, he just mentions it offhandedly, and Columbus holding a giant sword, he's like, oh, sword of the blah, blah, that was gifted to blah, 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 back in there, and he's like, and they both sort of go, oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
And it's like stuff like that, the idea that he uses part of the portrait of Taft or whatever to wrap Little Rock's present.
Because he was the fattest president.
Because he was the fattest president, so there was more but then, which I was like, funny, okay, whatever. But then later on, you see that portrait in the hallway, and it is like,
and no one calls attention to it. That's comedy.
That works, and it's like, there's a lot more of that portrait left, he's got a point. Like, that's
comedy, that's funny.
That stuff works really well.
But there's not enough of that shit in there.
The initial, like... I mean, I even didn't hate the... Why did they call it the Oval Office gag? Because at that point, it was too early in the movie to decide whether Madison was going to be a drawn-out joke or not.
I hated that joke.
Yeah.
Hated it.
You hate jokes about ovals, though.
Yeah,
They're your least favourite shape.
I'm a real oval champion.
You're an oval snob. You're an oval snob.
I'm on the oval team.
Hey! There it is!
There it is!
I don't believe for a second that no one else had tried to use the White House as shelter.
I don't believe for a second that a woman could exist in a mall on her own for 10 years.
That was dumb as shit. Now,
she lives in a freezer. It's funny, she lives in a freezer.
If this movie had come out in 2011 and was set like a year after the zombie apocalypse,
maybe
I'd buy it. The idea is she's held up in the mall, and whenever she hears a noise, she hides in the freezer.
In a fucking velour tracksuit.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
Yeah. Things I liked.
Fuck off.
The fact that Columbus, whenever they do raid a mall or whatever, will always go to the scented candles and just give them a sniff casually for a few minutes. It's quite a funny idea, because it's like, yeah, you would want home comforts, and I guess that would... I guess Zombieland stinks of shit, so you would want to smell something nice. And Yankee candles have been left there unopened on the shelf. They will smell exactly as they did when they were made.
Probably burn a few in the White House, why not?
Yeah, go for it. Like, that's a good joke. And it's not even a joke, it's just a fun little character touch. I liked the reintroduction of the travel light rule. Where Tallahassee was like, I'll pack your bags for you, they just didn't, and they drove off. Yep. Like, it's a nasty joke, and unfortunately was the start of many, but by that point it wasn't as obvious that was going to be a thing, and I was like, also, that is quite funny, because they pinpoint it not by saying anything. They drive away, and the fucking rule just creeps back onto the screen, travel light.
That being said, everyone has at least one duffel bag, and Madison's not allowed to have anything.
Yeah, cruel.
Because it's pink.
Yeah, oh, fucking hell. But you have to be a man to ride a pink car, and the brief sequence of Christmas was really charming.
Yeah, that was quite neat.
Like, that worked quite nicely.
You wrote in this first edition of Fellowship of the Ring, and you put my name in it, and you didn't stop. That was quite. You wrote my name in it. Oh, and yours too. You didn't stop. And it's just that's sweet, because it's those characters that you like playing off against each other, but as soon as you introduce the new characters and the new content, it just falls apart completely.
Yeah. I like the fact that despite the actual priorities of the world around them now, Tallahassee still gets fucked off by stuff that would just upset a redneck.
Oh, yeah.
Like, upon learning that Berkeley is a hippie, it freaks him out. He calms down, then he learns he's a pacifist, and he just straight up, for understandable reasons in a way, it's like, how the fuck is she going to be safe with this guy out there? But at the same time, like, his temper tantrum was... I love the fact that he's still petty about this sort of shit. Yeah. Like, he won't drive the electric car. The
it's not
electric car. Sorry,
the
he
minivan.
won't drive the minivan.
Yeah, he hates the minivan
because he just is like disgusted by the thought of it, and he drives it for like the first 2 stretches of the thing, and then after that he just sort of turns to him and is like, "Do you mind?
I just can't.
I can't do this." And it's like
I just can't do it.
It's like that stuff's funny. I like that. I like the continued joke of Eisenberg. The only thing Cumbus is genuinely terrified of is clowns.
Yeah.
Because it makes for a couple nice little, really, dude, like,
at least
even
not
now,
taking
moments,
the ice cream van.
but obviously doesn't get to pay off the way it does in the first one.
Nope.
Where the last zombie he has to basically kill before he can rescue Wichita and Little Rock from the drop-in thing in the theme park is a fucking zombie clown. Like, it pays off in the first one, but in this I was like, okay, I like that they carried that motif over because it is hilariously nonsensical that would still be a thing that scares you in a world where things are trying to eat you. There was stuff that I liked, but it was just
there's little interactions and moments that are like, oh, okay, that was
I like the idea of murraying. I like the idea that
yeah.
in 10 years somehow word has got out about what happened to Bill Murray.
Someone killed Bill Murray because they thought he was a zombie but he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then that's become a verb for when you kill someone by mistake because you think they're a zombie.
Murraying. That was funny, and I think that would have been the best use of reintroducing the Bill Murray gag. That would have been it. But they couldn't help themselves.
Fucking help themselves.
Like I said, every time
they couldn't help themselves. Put it in the fucking trailer.
Yeah. Well, in the trailer, it's got a different context.
Yeah.
Because in the trailer, you see him, and it's just like, what do you like? This movie, man, like Larry Wilmore or whatever is like. It's not Larry Wilmore.
Al
Roker.
Al Roker.
Al Roker goes, what's it? Like, this kind of movie would have been Bill Murray's like, I know, right? And then it cuts to Woody Harrelson, like, the footage from the film. There's like a ding of music in the trailer, and he goes like, we're expecting there, were you, whatever. The poster, if I'm not mistaken, the poster behind him in the trailer for the junket.
It's not for Garfield 3.
Is Zombieland.
Oh, okay.
So in the trailer, they're purposely trying to make you go, wait, the fuck? And when Rosario Dawson's character said Murraying, I was like, is this movie about to start getting meta on purpose? Are we going to start... Because obviously the narration of the first one is like just standard narration for the movie. The narration for this one is like, hi, you're watching a film. Welcome back to Zombieland. Like, this, that, and the other. And it's like, is it going to get meta? Like, probably not. No, of course it didn't. But
no, because The Dead Don't Die already did that. They didn't know way more interesting
Every
fashion.
time the movie took something away, it gave back something a little... Nowhere near as equivalent, but it gave back a little something that was kind of cool. And the 2 main examples of that I can think of are... It took away...
My will to live.
The wonderfulness of Bill Murray's legacy in this being that Murraying dialogue.
Yeah.
By being like, oh, here's a forced extra thing with the real Bill Murray during the mid-credits. But what that gave us was undeniably some of the, albeit very brief, funniest actual moments.
I mean, yeah, Bill Murray
because it's
fighting
clearly
his way
improv.
through the beginning of the zombie apocalypse was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the narration apologises for killing Bill Murray in the first movie, so they give you, the audience, a little something, and then it flashes back to day 0. So, sometime in 2009, presumably.
Yeah.
Oh, 2008, because in 2009 it's been a year since the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Wait, but the subtitle said 2009.
No, it's 2009.
Oh,
the
great.
The first film came out in 2009.
It did, but the events of the movie take place in 2009, a year after the events of the virus outbreak.
Shut up.
Okay. So...
they didn't think about it. Neither do you.
Yeah. Bill Murray's on the press junket for Garfield 3.
Which you see a poster for in the mall early on.
Yes.
Which I thought was quite
Which is a nice touch, because again, that in itself...
I think the implication is it's the same mall.
No, different mall, because they're in DC at this point. The mall in... oh, you mean where Bill Murray is?
Yeah.
Could be. Whereas DC, though.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's a nice callback to one of the best improv lines of the first one, which is, do you have any regrets? Garfield, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's the idea that he's making a third one is fun. Pros. Clearly improvised bits of dialogue. Bill Murray is really fun. There's a couple really nice sort of oh, that's funny.
I think I said when we were coming out, that's the closest thing I've seen to Bill Murray enjoying himself on screen since Ghostbusters.
Because they've obviously paid him money to come down for like 2 days and just shoot this scene in a junket
room. And by Ghostbusters,
room.
I don't mean Ghostbusters 2016, I mean Ghostbusters 84. 84?
84, yeah. The greatest year in movie history. Temple of Doom. I know it's not the best of those three, but it's still a lot of fun. And Gremlins. So, yeah, the downside to that is, like, although Al Roker's one of the people interviewing him, the rest all seem to be people who run YouTube movie channels, including Grace fucking Randolph, which confuses me, because she was the one who tried to petition for Deadpool being redone into a PG-13 before its release in 2016, because she was like, it's not fair that kids can't see this. And it's like, have you ever read a fucking Deadpool comic, Grace?
Says the woman who's done voice acting for 2 Grand Theft Auto games.
Has she?
She's in The Lost and the Damned and episodes from Liberty City.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel slightly queasy. Grace Randolph is, for those who don't know, she used to be the host of Marvel's The Watcher back in the day, which people were like, what's that? And I'm like, yeah, I know, because it went through 2 further iterations and then disappeared. Marvel The Watcher was like Marvel's weekly web show roundup of all the comics and this, that, and the other. She was pretty good on that. And as a result, when she left it, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to follow you on to your next thing, which became her channel Beyond the Trailer. And I watched it for about a year. And then I started to notice her opinions were kind of weirdly regressive and toxic in some places.
So kind of perfect for Zombieland Double Tap.
And she was very snobbish about a lot of stuff. And yet would always rally behind stuff with angry fan bases. Like, she thinks Batman vs. Superman is a fucking 5-star movie, and anyone who doesn't like it is thick. And whether she believes that or not, I'm like, you don't have to insult the people who do like it, who don't like it. Like, this is weird. Why are you doing this? She also used to be a comic book writer, but she stopped doing that since running a YouTube channel full time.
Yeah.
So you think that the writers of Deadpool would be kind of angry at her because she tried to get their film heavily fucked with before it came out. But she also was a massive advocate of Venom. So my theory is, as a shout out and a thank you to her, they offered her a cameo in this movie as one of the junket journalists.
Yeah, maybe.
But they didn't pay her, and she did it for the experience,
quote unquote, exposure.
as an exposure, as a fuck you for the Deadpool thing. Either way, I was like, oh, I don't wish harm on Grace Randolph, but I will greatly enjoy watching a fictional version of her turn into a zombie and get zombie attacked and zombie killed, but we don't even see it, like, because it's clearly a stunt person from behind.
So sorry.
Yeah, Bill Murray's funny in that moment. I like the idea that he just takes to zombie killing quite quickly and is like, yeah, sure.
Well, it's a lot like golf.
Yes, yeah. We even get a Ghostbusters reference again. He says, I ain't afraid no ghost, after he smashed one into a cabinet or whatever. That's fun, but the entire inclusion of that scene does kind of take away from how brilliantly brief his mention and legacy was earlier on with the Murraying line. And also, he looks way older in this scene than he does in his scenes in the first
Almost
one.
like he's 10 years later or something.
Like they haven't bothered to go, should we just change his makeup a bit?
Definitely did not have the budget for that.
No. The ongoing joke about the different versions of the rules and the duplicate versions of the two characters at the thing goes on forever.
Well, that's what I mean. It's that Shaun of the Dead joke stretched out far beyond its capacity.
But then it gaveth my favourite visual sequence of the film, when those two characters turn.
that one shot fight between.
Yeah, well, one shot in scare quotes.
Yeah,
because there's some
no
very
way.
well disguised seams.
There's no way that they could do all that in one.
But it's a pacing thing and a relentless thing, and
that's
works
actually
really
a really
well.
nicely shot action sequence, and it's probably the best action sequence in the film.
Because it's cool. A lot of zombie films are out in the air and like, oh, we'll show them in a street, we'll show them in a mall, we'll show them in a thingy, this, that, and the other. It was nice to see the best sequence in the first movie, for my money, was the flashback to 406 turning into a zombie and how Columbus deals with it. I think Fleischer does have a talent for doing close quarter zombie scenes.
That sort of enclosed space claustrophobia.
Like, you are there with these things that are getting stronger and will either infect you or bite your face off. That's scary, and I think the ferocity of that sequence was like, there we go. I want to see more of this, please. Because there's still comedic moments within it that work. Like the 3 or 4 times Columbus gets smacked in the face whilst trying to deal with his zombie, like, getting after him and stuff. I don't know. I think partially as well, I think that sequence existed just because they liked the idea of having zombies that look like them attacking them, but they didn't do anything about it. They didn't do any sort of introspection or anything about the idea of, like, oh god, like...
Let's not end up like them.
Yeah, it's just... And also Rosario Dawson seems relatively unmoved by it, considering the heavy gag implication that she and Luke Wilson's characters have slept with each other a lot. So it's like, you think she'd be a bit moved by that?
But no. Don't get attached.
Yeah.
Rule number whatever. Shall we move on?
To emails?
Yeah.
Sweet emails.
The sweet release of email death.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Take me away.
All right.
Take me out of Zombieland and to the inbox.
We got a couple. This one comes in from Sean.
Of the Dead?
Sean. Not that. Spelled differently. Spelled with a W.
The knockoff.
Says, hello, big damn lads.
Hi, Sean, the traitorous knockoff duplicate.
Wow, that was a long list of the Disney Plus catalogue and a lot of Sky Ghosts. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Lot of Sky Ghosts.
It made me look into what the gaps were about for at least the missing Marvel stuff. It seems that Netflix still has rights to those movies for a few more months after launch. And I can only extrapolate a similar reason for other missing titles.
Okay. Except for maybe Song of the South.
Well, yeah. And the reason for a delayed launch in the UK seems to be because of a deal with Sky for the Sky Cinema Disney channel is still in effect for the next few months.
Okay.
So I guess that's a non-compete thing, maybe.
Do you know what it probably is as well? It's probably a thing from Sky saying, don't tell people what the date is yet, because then you'll just have people just starting to unsubscribe from us. Whereas if they just announce it like a week before, hey UK, you get Disney Plus now, Sky will see less damages because people will be like, oh, I'll keep my Sky. Like, maybe, I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of anyway. Hello.
Oh, I've got a dog.
My wife just joined us. She's been bitten by a zombie.
Oh no.
No.
I'm gonna eat a bagel.
Oh,
that famous zombie meal.
Those zombie bagels.
Zagels.
If you will.
Anyways, has anyone checked out El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie? As I have so many people say on Twitter, it's unnecessary but a fantastic watch. I would say if Breaking Bad finale was then shutting up shop, then El Camino is them going back in and turning off the lights. It was slow and reflective, but it's always driving forward and wraps up the story so it can go no further.
It's the Toy Story 4 of Breaking Bad.
Yes. I have not watched El Camino yet. Keeks is in the process of watching Breaking Bad.
For the first time?
How's she finding
it?
She's pretty enjoying it. The last episode, I watched the end of an episode with her last night, and then she watched the next episode after I left to meet you guys. And it was the episode... You've seen Breaking Bad, haven't you?
Yeah.
It was the episode where...
Spoiler alert for a 6-year-old show, guys.
Where Hank has his showdown, has his encounter with the twins.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So she's like getting towards the end of season 3
now.
Yeah. In a little over 2 weeks. So she's rattling through it. So when she's finished that, we'll watch El Camino. I've heard really good things about it. So. I'm down for that.
Down to Cliwin.
Because also Aaron Paul. But also revisiting Breaking Bad with Keeks has just made me realise how incredible the cast is in Breaking Bad. Like particularly Aaron Paul and Dean Norris, for me.
Yeah.
Absolute star players in that series.
Dean Norris is Mike.
He's Hank.
Hank, sorry, yeah. Who's Mike?
Mike Emertrout is
Jonathan Banks, that's it.
So he's only just come into this show where Keeks is at the moment.
Oh, of course, yeah, because he comes in around tail end of season 2, and then series 3 is when he's a regular.
Beginning of season 3, I think, is where he first appears.
After we've seen Danny Trejo's head.
Or it might just be the end of season 2. Oh, yeah. Tortuga.
Tortuga.
So, this one comes in from our friend.
And yours.
Your friend. Charlie.
Charlie.
Says, hey. Says, hello, boys.
Hello, lady.
I've just started the Netflix Dark Crystal series, and so far, it's excelente. Thoroughly enjoying it.
Sorry, I meant...
Please. Thoroughly enjoying it, although bear in mind, it's something I had no idea I wanted until I got it.
Yeah.
I've still not watched it yet, but I'm
very good. Don't watch it during tea.
No.
That's all I'll say.
Here's a twofold question for you, my loves, to make up for my lack of questions for the last several weeks. What are some examples of things, pop culture-wise, that you guys didn't know you wanted until you got them? And similarly, what nostalgic film from your childhood would you like to commission into a prequel or otherwise series a la Dark Crystal?
Isn't it depressing that one answer to that first one is not, unfortunately, Zombieland Double Tap?
Definitely.
Like, I would love to have been an answer to that first question. Like, I didn't know I wanted it, but I'm so glad it exists.
Before Zombieland Double Tap, it would have been a Zombieland sequel. Or a Zombieland series. Definitely.
Yeah. So some that hit us like a ton of bricks is like, oh my god, I never knew I needed this, but apparently I do. Yeah, John Wick's a
John
great
Wick.
example.
Definitely John Wick.
Mm.
And
Teen Titans Go to the movies.
yeah,
I'm not fussed about Teen Titans Go whatsoever, really. It's
Yeah.
not my bag. I'm a very much a child of the 2000s show, so the notion of the same voice cast just being utilised for comedy hijinks makes me sad. But I kept hearing from friends and seeing people online
I've seen a bunch of
that
it
Go
now.
to the movies is worth a watch.
I've not seen Go to the movies, but I've seen a bunch of the series, and I'm like,
It's funny.
actually, yeah, this is actually really good.
One day I'll let go enough to be like, go on, let me watch the episodes. But
It's not on Prime.
I watched the movie and I was like, this is really dumb and really funny. And afterwards I was like, I am so glad I watched
See,
that.
I have the sort of minor advantage / disadvantage of being drawn to these things via children.
Yeah.
So I get exposed to these things by virtue of the various children in my extended family. So that's how I came across Teen Titans Go. After being like, it looks silly, and I've watched a few episodes of it and gone, actually, this is pretty fucking funny.
Is it limited to Is it limited to movies? That question.
No, just what things pop culture wise.
Counter Spy.
Yeah, Counter Spy
The
was pretty
PS3,
good.
PSV, PS4 tactical
Counter Spy
shooter.
is pretty fucking good.
I got hooked like crazy on that for about 4 months. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
For video games wise, it was Warframe for me. Like that just ticked so many boxes that I didn't know I had.
What? You mean Warframe, the game you play weekly on the weekly Wednesday Warframe, every Wednesday on twitch.tv/BigDamnStream or twitch.tv/
The game I have... no, it's twitch.tv/BigDamnStream.
Okay. So it's relocated, folks.
It's not Mountain Stream anymore. That's still there, but I never use it. But I mean, like, I've played 520 days in that game.
Christ
That's
alive.
not like total time. That's like how many separate logins I've had.
Yeah, Christ alive. Christ
It's
indeed alive in Warframe.
And I've had that a lot with video games. Like, I've come across things and just be like, this is scratching itches I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Like when I finally sat down and played, and probably said, all right, I played all the Legend of Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally sat down earlier this year when I did Legend of Zelda on stream, and I'm doing Link to the Past at the moment, and said, you know what, I'm going to actually finish these. I'm going to force myself to finish them. I found such satisfaction in doing the in sort of solving the puzzles in the dungeons, and it just scratched itches I didn't quite know I had because I'd always kind of bounced off Zelda games to a certain point.
Yeah.
But now I've actually gone back and gone, oh, okay. So yeah, Zelda and what was the other one I had in my head? Something really weird. It's gone. It's gone. But yeah, that's scratched.
Was it my penis? Because we've already discussed that is
not.
half owned by someone else.
Definitely not. Oh, Minecraft.
Oh! Okay.
Minecraft.
Oh, yeah, no, you did fall into that well.
I fell into that, again, by proxy of the children in my extended family, fell down a Minecraft one and be like, oh, and I'd kind of resisted it for a while because I knew
that if it grabbed you,
that it would scratch.
Those hooks would be in you. Yeah.
It'd be like, this scratches itches in me that I think I have, but I'm not sure. Like, this better not awaken anything in me. And boy, did it!
Oh.
It's just so satisfying. It's like... and...
What's the protagonist called again?
Steve.
Steve. Okay. And what's
Minecraft
the Slenderman ripoff?
Enderman.
And what are the shadowy things?
Enderman.
And what is the Slenderman called if you remove the S and the L off the front of his name?
Enderman.
Oh my god. That's a coincidence.
Are you thinking of the creepers?
Probably.
Creepers,
The
the creepers are
spidery
the weird green things.
Oh, right, that's
with
it, yeah, with the
and
scully faces.
If you get too
Right.
close to you, they explode.
Blah! Blah!
Bleh.
Bleh! Also, the podcasts of Kevin Smith. Because I now cannot imagine life without being sort of...
Podcasts in general. I mean, when I
true,
first
but
came across... I mean, it's been
You got me to sink my teeth into podcasts via Adam and Joe and Smodcast and Hollywood Babylon.
and Charlie introduced me to Smodcast.
Yeah.
So,
But like I can't imagine thanks Charlie, but I can't imagine life without checking in on the Smith family now, if that makes any sense.
It was just podcasts in general for me. Like when I first came across podcasts as a thing,
Yeah.
I didn't really get it, and then I started listening to them. I was like, oh, it's just people chatting about stuff, and I had no idea that I was that way inclined.
Who would ever listen to that?
I had no idea that I was that inclined to listen to people chat about nonsense. It's probably some of the podcasts I listen to, Keeks is into as well. But some of the podcasts I listen to, she's like, it's just people talking shit.
You know what? I think you know why podcasts have taken off so much. It's because it's selective radio, talk radio, essentially. But radio's become so commercial and so strictly structured by producers now that it's the same shit.
It's become more personable.
Podcast, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, radio's become less personal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Podcasts have kind of filled that
I don't
gap.
mind talking about this now because it's like over a year later, but I auditioned for a major radio company this time last year, and I was brought in, and they said, we want you in because, we want you to bring your own personality, do your own thing, record a couple demos and see how we go. And after the first demo, the feedback was, cool, could you maybe try it a little bit more like such and such a presenters on this programme of theirs? And I was like...
Alright, so you actually want me to do that?
So I did a bit of that, and they were like, cool, could you maybe do that, but you bring in your like a random little story from your life, like a little quirk thing, and then set it up as a text. And I was like, yeah. So... Oh, no, the producer's here, and they've sent the hound!
No! Minnie the Hound has entered.
But it's just that whole thing of, so you don't actually want a new thing, then? Okay, that's interesting. And I realised, this is so much more freeing. This is nuts. We talk about what the hell we want. Our only boss, as it were, for the subject of the podcast is a slight algorithmic lean. Like, we will always try to talk about something that everyone's talking about right now to make sure that new people discover the show. But we never talk about shit we're not interested in. So it's like, it's ours. It's our chat.
It's our chat, yo.
And that starts with me getting into Kevin Smith and Adam and Joe, and that starts with you introducing me to that stuff, which started with Charlie introducing you to this podcast. So, to answer your question, Charlie, you!
What nostalgic film from your childhood would you like to commission into a prequel or otherwise series a la Dark Crystal?
Create prequel series and watch.
What weird thing from your childhood would you like to see continued in some form or other?
Beetlebugs, no.
Beetlebugs, fucking hell.
You don't need a prequel to Beetlebugs. The entire opening title sequence is a prequel to Beetlebugs. There's 3 kids and they're into comic books and here's a Frankenstein's monster. Now there's a movie and something's going on and now they're Beetlebugs.
So fucking weird.
Some exec producer watched Power Rangers, then he watched Disney's Aladdin, and then he sort of said, do both of them together, but also comics. Big bad Beetlebugs. Oh, fuck that for a bag of shit.
Sideways.
Something from childhood that I'd like to see expanded. So it's something that you'd be doing it in the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance style of going, hey, this is kind of dark. Let's see what happens when we explore it.
Yeah, I guess.
Return to Oz? I mean, technically, the prequel to Return to Oz is The Wizard of Oz.
Just more Oz stuff in general.
But I'd like to see some Oz stuff set specifically in the same tone as and with the characters leading up to the events of Return to Oz. Not as like Return to Oz is the end game. Because that's what Age of Resistance does quite well. The end game isn't the Dark Crystal. It's set 1,000 trine before the events of the Dark Crystal.
A trine is, unfortunately, about 3 days.
Yeah. 1,000 trine! But it's, it means that there's room for a load to happen should the show continue, and based on how it ends, they clearly would like to tell more stories.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to think of more, like,
Return
stuff
to Oz
that
would be cool.
I'd really like to see continued. Like,
as a prequel. Is it specifically as a prequel?
No, just like some like form of continuation of it.
That's a good queer.
In the vein of Age of Resistance.
Yeah. Does it necessarily have to be from our childhood or just stuff we grew up with as kids, like stuff we inherited from a previous
From our
generation or
childhood
two?
is the phrasing specifically.
Art Attack, the prequel. How the hell did that bust become sentient? And why is it the scariest thing on television? Hello, it's me again, the Head.
I think I've been lucky.
I feast on human flesh.
I think I've been lucky enough that most of the stuff that
it's not red paint
I was really into as a kid has carried on. Like I've been sort of looking like, and stuff that hasn't carried on is kind of stuff that served its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I don't want to see a continuation of the 84 Transformers cartoon. Because it's bad. I love it.
I think we've touched on it.
Bad.
I think we've touched on it in a previous episode based on a different question, but like, if I wanted Buffy to continue in some way, what I'd want is just a mini series or two focusing on a different story, like a specific event in the life of a previous Slayer.
What about an anthology Slayer series?
Yeah.
Slayers through the ages.
Yeah. Slages.
Slages.
Like, so you just tell...
Slages.
do you know what I mean? Just like 5 episodes, and each one's a different story of a different Slayer. Do that. Because we get a glimpse of that in series 7? Yeah, when we see Principal Wood's mother in the past. It's set in the 70s in New York subway. It's her versus William the Bloody. And it's like, this is really cool. Like, this is really cool. It's like a 5-minute sequence. And it's like, a show like that, where we get to see that sort of stuff for an hour and a half each. Hour and a half episodes, 5 episodes, call it a day. That'd be really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I can see the appeal of that.
Your fan service is you could bring back a couple of villains that obviously would have lived in prior generations. And there you go. Boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Space Precinct.
What? What?
You don't remember Space Precinct?
No. What the hell?
It's a sci-fi cop show.
Live action?
Yeah.
American?
Canadian, I think.
80s?
No, 90s.
90s.
With a toy line that came along, which I had a lot of. I didn't have the police car. It got one 24-episode series.
Of course it did.
1994 to October 94 to July 95. It was rubbish.
But you want to bring it back.
But I want more Space Precinct. I want a Space Prequel synced.
What? What are you saying?
Listen, just fucking look at this thing.
Right, live reaction
Just
to Space
look
Precinct.
at this thing.
Show
Look
me
at that.
Space Precinct.
Look at that shit.
What the hell?
Look at that shit.
What the hell?
It's
Why does that guy have a face like a swollen vulva?
That's just his alien face.
Why is that one the Green Goblin?
Look at all that black leather.
Was it one season,
Uniforms,
you say?
One season.
Yeah, it looks like one of those one season early 90s
Look at
shows.
this. Look
Like
at that.
all the pre-Farscape sort of shows that
Yeah.
attempted a similar thing and then never got anywhere.
See, I don't need them to bring Farscape back because they already did.
Did they?
Well, no, they did 5 seasons and then they did a mini series cap on it, and it finished it out nicely. So, that kind of sort of ticked that off.
I hate to sound archetypal, but Firefly. Not for a season, just give us a random special set after Serenity.
Look at these fucking things.
God, they're terrible.
Look at these fucking.
I mean, that one's literally just a cop.
Yeah, with
That
a
is just a
weird
cop.
gun with a fist on the end.
Why?
I mean, it's not a fist, but it looks like a fist.
It depends on what
Yeah,
he
I had that.
Depends
I
on
had
what
all
he uses
this.
it for after hours.
I had the space bike.
Of course you did.
I had the space bike. I
They're
don't
just
know
police.
why.
They're just policemen, and every other toy has an alien head stuck to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is this?
Which I had Snake, the Mad Bomber.
He just looks like a different. He looks like No, go back to Snake. He looks like
Snake.
Oh God, what's his name? Freaking Jabba's Palace.
No, Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. He just looks like
He's
Bib
like-
Fortuna, but he's not grown him yet.
He's more evil, Bib Fortuna. He's probably-
Evil Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna is already. It's like cyborg. This
Oh God, one of them's literally
Cyborg.
called Cyborg, and
is
his
a cyborg.
and his face looks like a skull for some reason.
Yeah, it was
Because
a time
Terminator.
travel. It was a cyborg. It was a time travel episode.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, the cyborg was a time traveler. He came back from the future to stop the future.
Oh, in the future. Wait, what?
It was really weird. Like, I'm trying to think of stuff. Because honestly, like most of the stuff that I'm nostalgic for
Has had its comeback in some way as well.
still going in
I
one
was
form
just
or
about to
another.
say Biker Mice from Mars, and then I remembered, no, even that got redone about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
No one watched it, but it happened.
yeah.
Oh, the one thing...
TMNT is constantly regenerating.
Yeah. One thing from my childhood I am happy about returning because of the recent news is Animaniacs. New Animaniacs have been produced.
of course.
This was announced about 2 years ago. About a year ago it was confirmed that production had begun, and about a week ago they confirmed that the original voice cast are all returning.
Oh yes, yeah.
So it's, Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, Trez McNeil, Maurice LaMarche, like the OG recurring cast are back to voice all of their
Brilliant.
respective parts.
Brilliant.
So it's not this is your new anime. This isn't your daddy's Animaniacs. No, we're just making more Animaniacs. We're just making more Animaniacs. and it makes me happy, and I know it makes my wife happy, even though she wasn't a fan of the show, because it means she'll get to hear Rob Paulson singing stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll sing Yakko's World again.
Yay!
Which is fucking wonderful.
You know what? Actually,
no, I don't.
This is gonna sound really weird because I bet this has aged terribly, but I have fond memories of it from when I was a kid.
Hit me.
Aquila.
Really? You want to do more Aquila?
I had fond memories of it.
You know they've just brought back the Demon Headmaster, right?
Yeah, they've rebooted that,
and it's a show.
Hey, I'm not saying.
Charlie
not sure didn't specify it had to be good.
What?
So you want to bring place all the new things.
You want to bring something back and it be fine. Aquila, Romans, and a flying spaceship.
I think there's room. I think there's.
You just want to hear that theme song on telly again. That's why.
I don't even remember the theme song.
Oh my god!
I don't even.
We are not going to get in trouble for playing this.
I don't. It's not even that I want to see a prequel to that show, but I just this that concept has got legs.
Which is ironic because the ship
hasn't. Legs. No, it flies.
For those who don't know, it's basically the story of these two boys who discover a spaceship that goes invisible. That's your lot. And all the money's clearly spent in the first episode.
Yeah, but there could have been so much more to it.
But this was. But
there never will be.
This was the intro.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Latin, baby.
Yeah!
Yeah.
We're in the 90s now, folks.
Look at that CGI.
1997. Buffy font. That's the Buffy font.
That's the Buffy font.
See? Influential even when it came out. It's only been out a year and people are already nicking the font.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at them planets. Look at them planets, son. Oh, we're going to land in Devon. That's your theme. And that's the only reason people remember it.
It's not the only reason I remember it. Oh man, Space Romans. Spomans. Space Romans. That could be good.
How about you guys?
Let's reboot Aquila.
What would you...
Let's do it, Chris.
What would you...
No. You buy the rights for a tenner?
I probably could. I don't know, it depends on how well the Demon Headmaster does viewing figures wise. We could see all of these things coming back. The Queen's nose, again. Ugh. But this time, it's a contactless card. Someone has to just sort of...
just tap it.
Just tap it against something. Oh, that's depressing.
Bernard's watch, but it's an app.
Oh, don't. That'll be a thing. No, Bernard's watch, but it's a Fitbit.
Bernard's Apple Watch.
Yeah. Guys and gals, what show or film from your childhood inspired by Charlie's email would you like to come back for better or worse?
Oh, God.
As a TV series, let us know. bigdamcontact@gmail.com. The funniest will be read out next week. And the least funniest will be read out next week. Anything in between, we might read out next week. Also, you can get in touch with us on Twitter. I'm BigDamnCast. You can also hit us up the Big Damn Stream at twitch.tv. And if you want to support the show, great. We'll give you our address and you can send us Dominoes. But failing that, patreon.com/BigDamnCast. Join for as little as $1 a month to get a bunch of bonuses, including video commentaries, early access to episodes of Big Damn Love, and if you become a Big Damn Notice Me Senpai, you get something a little extra, you know what I'm saying? It's not my penis.
You've actually got to make those, at some point.
What, make senpais? We are senpai. No. We are senpai!
Yeah, whatever.
We'll speak to you later. I could hit the stop button, but my dog's on my shoulder and I'm weighed down. Matt, you're going to stop the recording.
Oh, no.
I've got a hairy parrot.
Which button is it?
Oh, the square one. Bye.
Bye.